Hey man. Korg nanokontrol2. First thing you need to know is that this thing is a piece of shit. No, I remember it being really hard when I got it too, and they just throw all these hoops at you, and you do all the wrong things, and it's way simpler than they say, and someone really needs to smack them in the head and just write a paragraph at the beginning of their manual telling people like you and I what we really want to know. So here we are. I've installed the Korg editor software, and in Sonar or in Cubase in your case, you need to go wherever your MIDI devices are. Hang on, MIDI devices, and there's your list of stuff. And Nano Control should be in there. Click on the input and the output and make sure you know that Cubase knows about them. Okay, apply, whatever. Okay, I'm just going to close Cakewalk. So it knows that there's a MIDI thing in there. So the first thing you do is launch this Korg editor thing, and it shows you a bunch of different things they have. And you click on the Nano Control, and you say OK. Chances are it won't look like this. You'll be seeing some other, like the control surface version. The big problem with this thing is it works as a control surface, meaning Pro Tools, play, stop, record, track 1, track 2, faders, all that, meaning it just runs your DAW. And it also works as a MIDI CC controller, which is what you and I want, right? So let me just look through here and see if I did anything. We went to Preferences, make sure this is set in the MIDI in and out, and that's the same in your DAW, which we did. This is all default, okay. Help, communication, undo, preferences, quit. Yeah, there's really not a lot going on here. So browse, you can ignore that. When we go to control, there's a list of stuff here. I do believe that, okay, so first thing I did was I hit this top left button. This came up, and it was selected as Sonar. In your case, it might say Cubase, who knows. The first thing I did was turn that to CC. So now it's just, it can control anything. It's not just for Sonar or Cubase or anything. It's just a MIDI controller at this point. Then what I did was, under the advice of that guy with the accent like this who was telling me about how you use it with Digital Performer, he went ahead and he put a few just normal CC controls in. 7 is volume, I forget what 11 is, and 1 is expression, let's say. So I started there and I went, okay, let's see if it works. So you simply double click it and then, type 7, 11, 1, enable, all that should be on. And then when you're done doing that, go up here and say write scene data, and it will remember that. Now, when I go to Sonar, or in your case, Cubase, hopefully, God help us. Let's start a file. We'll go on Open Contact for the heck of it. And let's grab Berlin Woodwinds, perhaps. I'll grab a bassoon. Here we are. So right off the hop, oh, I need to put a MIDI track, of course. Aiming at contact, track 1. So those, I'm going to use my sliders here. The first slider, you see, is already, it's controlling the volume. I forget what he said the second one did, 11 or whatever, but it's doing something. And number 3 is doing the X fade thing, or the dynamics. All right, and then okay, great. So let's say I want to have the vibrato setting. It's telling me here it's CC22, or you can change it. But instead of doing anything, what I did was I'm not going to do it. I closed Sonar. I went back here and I made this number 22 and I saved it. For some reason, when the DAW is open and you try to do the right scene, it says something about a missing port or something. So when your DAW is closed, you can edit this thing and say write scene data. So there's 22. Now when I reopened it and I go and I move my 4th slider, look, that's moving from normal to no vibrato. I could be using my Anyway, it's working. So then I was like, well, why doesn't the learn function work? And then I went, okay, well, let's try it. So I said, I right clicked on the pan and I said, learn control, and I turned a knob. Oh, it is working. There you go. Fine tune, learn control. Click on another knob. Oh, here we go. So now we're in full working mode. Okay. Another little tip is when you get into a control that might be a little more geeky in contact, like something in here, for instance, I think you can still hit the learn button. Let's see. That did not work. But, oh, MIDI C. Anyways, what I was going to say is if you go to automation, you should be able to, there's a way you can take a specific number, like let's say 18, and just, actually let's do it with 22 because we already have that one, and just drop it on there, and then 22 should work, and of course it's not because I'm making a video. I'm going to look into that more, these deeper controls. But it, oh, see, there it is right there, and others it says. But that's how you drag any, look at all these CCs. You can drag them anywhere. Say number 6, if I dragged it to here, now it's ready to do the room sound on number 6. So I'd have to go, I don't think I can do it with it open. Let's say I change this to 6. Let's see if it works. See, now if I say write scene data, I'll get an error. Failed to, yeah, I need to do this when it's closed, but let's see, yeah, no, it's not working yet. I'd have to close and reopen that. But that's the basic function of the whole thing. There's your tune, there's your pan, our vibrato thing. I mean, you can really get it to work and do everything. You can also continue and get it so that the transport does run your DAW, like if you want play and stop and all that to be on the transport. Still in this mode, you can do that. I forget how it works here. There's some MIDI control functions, but that's the basic thing. So really, it was just set up the MIDI device, program a few things in here, starting with 7, 11, and 1. Try those. See how these are CC'd too. Like play could be CC 41. I just got to figure out how to tell contact or cakewalk, in my case, that when I press CC 41, it makes the play button go. That's not so hard. So you've got all these controls you can do. And I suppose you can save different instances of this thing too. If you wanted to, one for contact and one for LA strings or however you're doing stuff. So hope this helps. At least it's part of it. Okay.